Hi hackers, and welcome to Hacker Bytes, where we will give you tips on how to support innovative instruction in your classroom and try to show you what is hacking in other classrooms that are moving towards this personalized learning approach. Today, we're going to give you a classroom management tip. This is something we use when we talk about our hack model of innovative instruction and something we use to support the systematic approach of building student and teacher capacity in our classrooms. Something I used in my classroom that helped me with the paradigm shift of kind of getting me out of the way of their learning was my classroom toolbox. It helped me systematically approach building not only device capacity along with classroom and management procedures, but it helped me really help them build platform capacity. This is vital when we're talking about building independent learners, when we're talking about students collaborating. One thing I often find teachers doing is they jump in with both feet, which is fantastic. But the problem is sometimes we ask them to deal with very high rigor content at the same time as we ask them to build with a new, or ask them to perform with a new platform. This can cause what I kind of call a split brain of the student. Here we have our students who are thinking about not only the rich content, sometimes at a very high DOK or Bloom's level, but we also then are asking them to perform or show that evidence of learning on a medium that they are not used to. So one thing we go back to in our H activities, which is highly structured in our hack model of innovative instruction, is really how do we design instruction so that we can build the capacity of the learner to move them towards that knowledge center, that K that we talk about in our hack model. How do we move them towards independence and collaborative learners? This is what I think worked in my classroom. We have a simple whiteboard here. In our classroom, it was magnetized. This one is not, so you might hear tape or our little gummies that we're using. What I did was print off each of the different icons for each of the individual platforms that we will be using in our class. On the back, I have a kind of a cheat sheet for me. So if you'll look at that, I have not only what the name of the platform or application is, but I also have what is its operating system, iOS or web. Now, if you're fully Apple, then you'll only have icons for Apple. If you're fully web-based or Windows-based, then you're probably only going to have ones that are web or Windows-based. But if you are a classroom that has multiple devices or a bring your own device, this becomes very handy. So, on our board over here, I have ones that I would have already introduced to my classroom. Very important too, when I talk about introduce, I'm not talking about a one and done experience for your students. The introduction of a platform, yes, at the beginning is going to be in probably one content area. It is going to be something that I maybe had them use emails to summarize a chapter of a book that we were reading in class. Maybe I had them use a Padlet for different exit tickets, or maybe had them sort words on it using a Padlet. Maybe I had them use Sway in order to, in science, to show me their process that they used in their science lab. Those are all different one and done experiences. It does not mean that that is the only content or context I want them thinking they can use those platforms in. So I would use them again. I would use Sway. I just used it in science. I would use it in reading. Padlet, used it as a ticket out where I drove the instruction. Maybe I now have them use it as part of a collage or poster building process where they are going to build something to be the experts on it and everyone else will gallery walk it. I want them to experience those platforms in different ways. That is vital when we're talking about the independent learning that students need to have as they move forward with these applications. Now, all the ones off to the side are ones that I haven't yet introduced. And I need to. So it kind of gives me a heads up to, you know what platforms are available for the lessons I am planning, because we all know it's not about the apps. It's still about the instruction that you are planning in your classroom. So which ones do I still have available that maybe I haven't introduced, and which ones do I still need to give that highly structured involvement to my students in and have them pair with that platform to show me and produce content. So say we were going to do that with Canva. Maybe today I realize that I'm going to have them make propaganda posters from the Revolutionary War. Maybe some students are doing that from one side, and maybe another are producing them from the other. Those could look very different. Canva is an awesome tool for that. So I'm going to introduce that to my students. First, I'm going to have them produce that on paper and pencil in the medium they already know. They're going to be researching and talking about what would be some of the things the British would say. What would be something that the colonists or the patriots would say regarding this? And they would create a quick draft, doesn't have to be great, a quick draft or ideas of what they want their propaganda poster to look like. Now we're going to introduce Canva. So I'm going to say, boys and girls, today we're adding to our toolbox Canva. Canva is a digital platform, a graphic artist type. You guys are going to make awesome posters using Canva. And I would take them through this process. I would give them a quick, probably 5-10 minute tutorial on Canva, how they use it. And then I'm going to give them some time. I'm going to give them some time. I used to call it get-go time, get the giggles out time, to really work with the platform itself, work in groups, find out different things they can do using that platform. Then I'm going to have them go to their content. I'm going to have them produce what they've already have on paper, and now I'm going to have them produce that into Canva. One of the reasons we do this is when we ask students to produce a high level of content, maybe we're asking them to research, just like with the poster, research, come up with a creative solution. Creating is at the high level of DOK and Bloom's. And when we ask the students to create, along with, oh, and here's a new platform that you don't know you're going to learn it on, we can cause this almost split brain dynamic that happens with students. Our students are, as much as they would love to think so, they are not multitaskers. So separating content and then giving them the platform once they have the content down is a great way to build capacity on these platforms the first time around. Now, the second time I introduce Canva, they may not need that split dynamic, that split brain dynamic. They might be able to produce their product right onto Canva because they already know it. So it's not, you're not asking them to develop and operate at high rigor, not only in content and also device. So these are all ones. Maybe another day I have them do a poplet. Maybe they need to build a graphic organizer telling me the difference between plant and animal cells, or maybe the different characters and different attributes that those characters had. Once again, these are not one and done. I'm going to again ask them to use this in a different way because we do not want them to think, oh, Poplet is only a science platform. Canva is only a social studies platform. That is something we need to get away from. They need to see these as tools for learning, which becomes so important when they become independent learners with these platforms. So we're going to assume that these are all ones that I have done multiple times, multiple content areas with my students. My fifth graders called it legit. They would say, Mrs. Ackley, we are legit in that one. I think we can move it down to our independent platform. So we would take something like eMaze, and once I felt like my students knew that platform inside and out, we would talk about different rubrics and how they can evidence learning using those platforms, and students could identify the different ways that they would show that outcome using this platform. That is when I'd move it. That is when they earned legitness. So we move it down. This is a very visual reminder to them that says, these are ones I don't know. These are the ones that I've had some experience with, but these are the ones that I know that I can use to drive and personalize my instruction. So say we did that with MoveNote, and let's put Canva down here. Once I have independent platforms, my students knew that when they were given choice, maybe I identified an objective and I now said, boys and girls, you need to show me the different organelles of a cell, and I need you to be experts on those, and you're going to choose any platform you would like to show me the evidence of that learning. This was where the bottom of this board became vital. They didn't choose from here. when they had student choice, nor did they choose from here. They knew they were legit or independent learners on the platforms that were down in this area. So they knew that they had free reign over this. So if I gave them a choice and told them that they needed to show me their learning on a certain platform, they could do that using the ones that they were independent on. Whether you decide to call it a platform toolbox for your classroom, or as another teacher decided to approach it, her appetizer menu for her students, I hope that you find this tip useful. I hope you see how it can create a dynamic learning environment for your students and move them and build that systematic approach towards device capacity in your classroom. Thank you for joining us for Hacker Bytes today. I'm Amy Ackley, and get hacking.